Hello everybody, boys and girls and people of the world. Welcome to another episode of the Free Bant Express. This is going to be an episode called the MMA Train, which is going to be from a new set of stuff. I'm going to split my podcast up. I'll talk about it at some point in the podcast about what I'm going to do. It's just a brief intro just to say that this time around it's not like the last one where we have the fight on the background and then we talk about it. It's we start off chatting about the preliminaries and the results. Then we go in, watch the main card, and talk about it afterwards. Unfortunately, my friend did get called away, my co-host, so it's just me afterwards chatting about it with you. So bear with me for a bit because I kind of do go off on sort of tangents. This is kind of why I need a co-host there to reel me back in. But I still end up getting my points across at the end of the day, sort of, for the most part. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the podcast and like, subscribe, tell your friends and all that jazz. Alright, peace out. Welcome to another installment of the Free Bant Express. This is going to actually be episode 2 of the MMA Train. It's going to be another channel I'm bringing out. That's just going to be MMA, along with another channel that's just kind of science and knowledge and shit. And I think I'm going to call that Powered by Science. And then I'm going to have one that's like movies, media, games and stuff. Don't know what I'm going to call that yet. And then I have the general Free Bant Express, which is just the general nonsensical bant and stuff like that. So this will be number 2 of the MMA Train, and this is about UFC 173 Renan Barao versus TJ Dillashaw. Now I'm here with my good old friend and co-host. By the way, you're going to be my co-host now for the MMA Train. Chooie, Nial, Chooie, McCromack.
That's right, give out my fucking address too.
You want your full name? People should know you. You're a good dude. People should know you. And he has been doing different you've had experience in like different types of martial arts kind of training as a kid and simple like things like karate and stuff like that. And then you went on to what looks like powerlifting and jiu-jitsu.
Powerlifting and jiu-jitsu, yeah. Beautiful combination.
It is actually quite a good combination because the powerlifting means you're not really stretchy. And the jiu-jitsu means you don't necessarily have a lot of power because it's more about technique. So you put the two of them together, you're fucking Husmar Paul Harris. And you get fired from UFC from ripping people's legs off.
It gives me, it makes my technique a bit cheaper sometimes because you put people to the same weight class as me. I tend to just kind of be like, no, don't do that. Stop that. So that's why usually I'm always put against people who are like a couple of pounds heavier than me, which makes me have a terrible fucking day and makes me have to learn technique because there just is some fat cunt lying me.
Well, that's true. Like, if you know you're always winning because you're always overpowering someone, you don't really know if you got the actual technique down.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. It's not jiu-jitsu, it's jiu-jitsu.
I find it myself, I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to jiu-jitsu class this evening.
You have to.
And the guy who teaches me is Abinel. Fantastic.
Well, he's fucking Brazilian.
He's fucking Brazilian as fuck. He'd rip you apart too. Musty cunt.
What I want to do is take a quick walk through the prelims. I've already watched the prelims. I haven't watched the main event yet, so we're just going to take a quick walk through the prelims, and then we're going to go watch the main event. Like the three ones. Lawler versus Ellenberger. Oh my god, where the fuck is my brain? Henderson versus Cormier and Barao versus Dillashaw. Dillashaw versus Barao. I don't know which is... What is the order? Is the title holder first, or is the challenger first?
Challenger first, because the title holder gets to walk into the ring.
Yes.
And it has to be the other person's away for him to walk in. That's what I can remember.
Yeah. So when you're saying it would be like when Weidman won against Silva and beat him. It would be Weidman versus Silva 2, or would it be because the first one was.
Oh, this is some deep shit.
It was Weidman versus Silva first because Silva's a champion, and the second was Silva versus Weidman 2, I think.
Grand.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't
think they're selling it again.
There's a chance there's no actual rule.
My God, I do know. Any fight I've ever seen, the challenger walks out first.
Oh, absolutely.
He has to sit in the ring and watch this other guy's
in anticipation. Yeah,
that's the thing I think they should do more in UFC. Some fucking slick entrances.
Yes.
So
what was it?
Like, hello, we're here to fight this guy.
And the fighter and the kid, Brandon Schaub and Brian Callen, the fighter Brandon Schaub, comedian Brian Callen, are like, for your next walk-in tune, you like I can't remember the song, but it was some real like cheesy 80s kind of. And I got that spirit, wow, wow,
Right, fuck bitches up.
And he was like gonna come out, rubbing his shoulders with like the towel around, and, like on a megaphone. Mr. Brendan Shaw, Big Brown, ladies and gentlemen, Big Brown, come ready to fight. There's a song singing, everybody give it up, and just whoo, super motivated coming out into the ring like.
I get tired walking out of the ring doing that.
Some people did though, but then again, a lot of times it was like, for example, I think the best is Mayhem Miller.
He was great.
He had this mad crazy intros, and he was always like, coming to the stage, blah blah. Where is he now? Where is he now? He got humiliated by Bisping, and it's not even a sense to Bisping's credit, because Bisping's so much better, that dude. Other people could have done that to Miller. Wherever Miller was good in the past, he wasn't balancing his partying and his dedication to the sport enough. Although I have heard something post up recently about him changing his ways, but we'll see. I hope he does well.
I'm kind of along the Japanese line the way I think about fighters. I think the way fucking, and it leads to a lot of fanboyism, I think, in Western way people look at fighters. And I think the real thing is if someone shows up and they're ready to fucking bang.
Absolutely.
So I always have time for Mayhem Miller. I recognise that he's probably not the most technical fucker going.
True.
But I want to sit down and watch a fight, someone's going to go for it. Because I've seen so many people who are just fucking fantastic fighters. And it's just boring. I'm just like, I'm not bored of you now. Like, sometimes, you know, people watch Formula 1 to see crashes. You know?
I was having a conversation with someone the other day about Michael J. Fox. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh God, car crashes, Michael J. Fox.
Michael Schumacher.
That's
Michael J. Fox in Formula 1. Now that's a show I watched. Michael J. Fox is totally fucked.
No course can hold him. He decides where he wants to go.
For those who want to gamble with death, get in a Formula 1 car with Michael J. Fox.
I think I'm
blindfolded on ketamine.
Fuck man. I don't know. Would that this sounds really bad, but would that level him out?
Ketamine?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. It just completely
because it's actual muscle neuron things rather than an actual conscious decision or a twitch. It's muscle.
So what
not dystrophy, but
is there anything that like would relax him out a bit?
Things that will relax your muscles. Weed apparently is a decent enough thing to sometimes tone it down, but it's very subjective. How weird would
that feel though?
It's quite subjective though, so you can't say weed is the definite thing for.
Because you know the way when you know, if you were to smoke some weed, you hear people say, that
as people have proclaimed,
that you can you get a definite more sense of connection to your body and what's going on, and you feel things in a different way.
It's also muscle relaxant though, so don't forget that.
Yeah.
There is the.
But like, wouldn't that be like the strangest thing to like have the twitches and then like experience them in a whole different way? And then you don't want to be in the paranoia phase and start figuring that shit out. That's not something I'd be really into. I don't know, paranoia phase. I think the paranoia. People talk about, you know, you have a religious experience in fucking weed, whatever. You sit there and you're just like, you're relaxed out. You're finding yourself and shit. I think you find out a lot more about yourself when you have that paranoia phase.
Yeah, of course. The paranoia is not actual fear of what's around you. It's projection.
Yeah.
Your paranoia is you're slowly pulling apart your false masks and thoughts that you have.
I just think it would be funny because I remember one time
you get freaked out and paranoid
open.
because you might look around to someone and go, man, I'm so fucking high right now. Did I think I'm high? I probably think I'm fucking weird. Because probably a part of you thinks that, you know, the mates you're with, maybe you don't think that they're cool with what you're doing, or you can't tell them because you're afraid they'll know. Or
people know when you're stoned.
They don't do it exactly. Like
just sitting there, like,
they mightn't do it because they're not into it, but they don't mind you doing it. But then you always question that. So when you're high, you don't allow yourself to block out these thoughts. So you want to know the answers and the real truth, and as well at the same time you project a lot of your own worries, because if you're not high enough, it starts to open your worries. But then if you get more into it, then you understand what's happening, and you're like, oh, I'm just becoming more vulnerable because I'm aware of all the bullshit.
Right now, man.
Of my own bullshit just as much as other people's bullshit. But when you're not told any of this, and then you just get wrecked high for the first time, especially with people, like random people, and you get full power, you get serious power. Especially when you're a kid and you do it and you don't really notice how high you are till you come back into the real, and then you go into your house and you're like, hi mom, and your mum's like, for no apparent reason, I have to have a huge mass discussion with you about something really serious that I could have had with you this entire day, but I'm only having right now at 9 p.m. when you just come back from being blazed as fuck and you're peaking.
Hey man,
and
what's
you're
going
like,
on right now?
and in your mind you think you're sweating fucking bullets and they see this wrecked face.
Big red eyes.
They don't really.
Don't really care. They probably just finished smoking up when you came in and were like, shit, hope he doesn't notice I'm fucking high right now.
My mom's beautiful, kind, empathetic and innocent nature made it very easy for her to hoodwink as a kid. Like, man, what's wrong with your eyes? They're so red. Or I fucking soap in my eyes from shampooing. Oh god, I hate when that happens. Wow, that worked. Oh my god, why am I saying this out loud?
No more tears, motherfucker. But,
no more tears. Do you see that in Dilly Sanchez?
No.
They open his eyes and just squirt fucking Baby Johnsons into his eyes. He's like, ah! Ah! His fucking eyes are glowing red and he's streaming tears and like, well, no more tears. Turns out it's bullshit.
Lied to me.
But then we got to get into these fights.
Yeah, sorry.
So the main thing I noticed about the preliminaries this time was there was a fuckload of tough alumni.
They got that product investment, man. They want to get their money back.
It's also nice to see when you watch things like, well, not that I watch things, but when you know the existence of all those other shows where it's like, everybody compete for a chance at the goal you really want. But even the people who win won't really get anything at all.
No, you get nothing.
Whereas the amount of times you see fighters who have been on Ultimate Fighter and then you see them again later on in the UFC, like, even if they didn't win.
They've got balls. The thing is, too, is like, that's the whole thing. When you know, the known is better than the known unknown.
Yeah.
So if you know some guy can bang at least. Well, I saw that guy and he was consecutively there. We kind of know him. Very man, cool. What's the worst that can happen? Gets his ass handed to him. So you probably get that off some random fucker you hide off the street.
Exactly. And like for coming and showing does more. Like you can tell in the fucking show, especially every time Dana says it, he absolutely amends heart and your willingness to fucking go for it in that show.
That's what makes it too.
More than anything, like
that's what people understand. Like,
well, because like the way it looks is like skill and technique you can learn, but if you don't have the fucking mindset and the will for it, you're not gonna make it in this fucking business. And you're not expected to have the best skills. This is why you're on a fucking show to win. So try and actually just hone.
How would you concentrate?
Your heart.
Like I love the whole fucking thing though. You're on a team together. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, I never got this.
Is this a fucking...
And like this beef in the house is like, you know, they're supposed to be on our team and then they're talking smack about this team. And it's like, since when the fuck is UFC team? It's about your individual ability. I saw that. It's ridiculous.
Fucking funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's the biggest fucking piss on like the credibility that UFC has started to gain. It's such a fucking insult.
I think it's hilarious. It's just like a big
dude,
soccer
it's
fight.
4 lads beating the fuck out of one dude and there's 3 refs just standing there.
Laughing their ass off.
Laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is prison. What we're watching is prison.
Round 2. Not what you expected.
So yeah, the first fight was David McCall from Tough 16. Honestly, don't remember him. And
no way.
He was replacing Danny Mitchell, who didn't come in for an injury, against Jinglane Lai, who's from China Top Team, and he's got like 5 wins by submission. 4 of them was straight to a guillotine that he's known really well for. Lo and behold, Jinglane Li won by split decision. Then Sam Cecilia, another tough vet, doesn't have the best record of 2 wins, 3 losses. He was fighting Aaron Phillips, who... Aaron Phillips' face, right? Every time you look at it, is really, really, really young / 50-year-old man. It's really weird. It's like this
old man baby.
Old man baby. It's really odd. But he's a good fighter.
Why would they keep a guy around, especially in everyone saying that there's a swollen roster, and everyone's saying that the W's are so important? What's your man doing to be kept around for the 3-2? 2-3, sorry.
I think it's just how he won.
Right, just fuck some guys up like twice. Just really fucked some. Just came in hungry. Just fucked 2 guys up.
Yeah, it's odd. When I saw Sam Cecilia in it, I was like, when he's on, he's on.
Yeah, like.
But when he's not, he's not.
Remember Uriah Hall? When he's on, he just fucking kill you. But he's just not on.
No, he's not. He's cut. He's not in the UFC anymore.
Remember he kicked that guy in the head and Tough.
Sent him to the hospital. Knocked him flat out cold unconscious.
It was crazy. I was just like, dude, you just got sucked in. Because that's the whole thing. He's moving. He sucks the guy in a distance, and
but it was like, you know, when you watch that Tough, all you can hear is from like everyone in the room, all shouting at 2 people at once. When you move, then you hear silence in the breath before the storm, and then this crack, and everyone just stops.
Ooh.
Complete silence. Uriah turns around to see that his handiwork, and his face just drops with fear and guilt. And your man's just like someone just cut the rope from a fucking puppet.
That's why you get sucked in, man. Don't get sucked in the other guy's rhythm.
Even the way he fucking falls and he's lying there is like, that looks like a death scene. If someone told me he got an aneurysm and died from that, I'd believe it.
That's happened.
He went straight into a fucking ambulance unconscious, like.
I think at a certain
eventually
point,
got him around, but fuck.
I don't know. I think, it just brings it back. Don't get sucked into another guy's rhythm, and don't make excuses. So like
it's the Machida style. It's the wood chipper. He dances around and he has his hands low, and people think that they can get in there, and then they get confident, and he just shuts them off.
She's gonna get fucking killed against White.
He is going to get fucking destroyed. He's gonna get destroyed.
I hate that they're doing this now in UFC, where they feed old champions to new guys just to build their credibility. He fucked up Anderson, whoever, Shogun Rua. He fucked up Shogun Rua. Yeah, if it was Shogun Rua and Pride, I might be impressed. But it's Shogun Rua who's this fat loaded cunt who's coming out kind of being like, man, so much cocaine right now. Don't sue me, Shogun, but like, you seriously look like someone who's a lot of cocaine.
It's really, really shit, and it's unfortunate because some of them are legends, and they always will be legends. But there's such a fucking breed coming out now that they're not going to hold the title, and if they manage to get after one fight, it's gone the next fight. Like, it's only won by fluke. Or like luck, or at the right thing at the right time. There obviously is skill there, but there's just certain levels when you get to like, I mean, man, John Jones picked apart every like legend that went up to him, and I mean picked him apart. To the point where even Rampage Jackson, who was like, I didn't believe this John Jones hype, and I didn't believe about that bullshit. Woo! He just whooped my ass.
But how old is fucking Jackson though when he did that?
But it's even the fact that he's from the same fucking page and the same book as all these other champions.
I'm just happy that he beat up Rashad Evans. I'm just happy he beat up Rashad Evans.
Yeah. He's one of the... Rashad Evans is one of the only fighters that through the entire time I've watched this sport, I've never come around to liking them. There are so many fighters that I didn't like at the beginning, but then I grew up and I realised the shit and stuff.
It's a shit haircut, that's what it is.
And
it's crap lines.
And they grow themselves as well. You can hear cocky guys after they lose, and then they actually get a really good win afterwards, like a proper win, because they really put the effort in. And then they're so humble afterwards. He has gotten more humble, but there's just something about his attitude. Then again, he's a fucking serious motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's a serious motherfucker.
Made look like a bitch though by Jones. Jones didn't beat him up, he just made him look a bitch.
He just elbowed the fucking face out of him.
Put his hands in his face. Oh, I think they're going to start doing the thing where now you have to have your fingers closed. They're going to try to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they're not changing the gloves, because you need those gloves for grappling, the ability to use your fingers and stuff. However, they should put it in a rule of like, oh, careful with those eyes, as in, if we see you on a replay or the ref sees you and your fists are open, you get a point taken.
They have those, so you have a thing, like boxer socks, I don't know what they're called, but you see them, they're like basically a very thin leather glove. And basically for grappling, if you have your fingers together, that's good enough. And you can create hooks and holds like that. Because you're not allowed to do joint manipulation anyway, so you can't grab a finger and go, shh. So a lot of people argue that the only reason that you shouldn't have the glove, there's like the leather sock and then the padding on it, is because it makes it like, the only thing you can use your fingers for is to do that. Is to put your hands on someone's face and fuck up their eyes. So they're like, well, put it inside the leather sock and then have the glove on. I don't see a problem with that, because having done grappling, it's useless to, and actually too, your finger's going to get caught in some shit you don't want to be caught in. Not as much without the gi, but...
One of the things as well though that I was hearing towards it is, when you have even so much as your fingers open, that changes how you make a fist, and it changes the tension and power you can make and hold with your fist. So by doing that and having the gloves where they are, it means you can only really hit so hard, and if you keep hitting harder, you'll break your hand.
Yeah. So
it stops the whole boxing thing where no one really has the ability to know the kind of fucking power that's hitting that face, because the glove is so covered up, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm just like...
So they don't feel it in their wrist, so they can really just give it full fucking leather the whole time.
I'm going to stand in front of you until you fall over. Okay, cool.
But yeah, ironically, I would have said Aaron Phillips might have won, hung it out till the end, because Sam Cecilia I haven't seen to be unbelievably good with his cardio near the end. He kind of tends to fade. But he won by split decision.
No excuse for that nowadays.
Then Anthony Njokuani.
Njokuani. All I can think of, what's his name?
I saw the fight against Roger Bowling, and he was fucking serious good KO. But he hasn't fought in like a year, or April last year, and that was fighting Roger Bowling, and he was versus Vink Pichel. I don't know him. Never heard of him. That's like, I probably have definitely seen him, but not enough to remember him.
Yeah.
Apparently he likes to stand and trade. He's a Tough 15 alumni. How do I not know that guy then? Because I watch all the Tough. Well, I'm a terrible person. Coming off recent KO over Garrett Whiteley, and Vink Pichel won by unanimous decision again. Another unanimous decision. Then Ally Quinta, another Tough 15 run-up. I remember him. Always improving. Yeah, recent legit wins over Ryan Couture. I have to pronounce it right. Piotr Hillman, and Kevin Lee. That fight with Kevin Lee was fucking brilliant. There were no losers in that fight. I tweeted at both of them that night and got tweets back from both of them saying cheers.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's good for the sport. There's no fucking losers. Two guys are kicking shit at each other.
He was against Mitch Clark, who just changed a 0-3 record, Jesus, to 1-3. We probably kept him in from being cut or something. And he's improved since he's moved to MMA Labs in Arizona. And Mitch wins by Darce choke, which I was really... I saw that one. I was very, very, very fucking surprised about that, because I thought Alaquinta, he's a fucking serious scrapper. Like. But yeah, Alaquinta went for the takedown, and your man just kind of... He was half on the ground, and in the middle of the scramble, just got the Darce choke, rolled him over, and in like half a second, once he locked that in, it was... And then that was it.
Shoulder.
That was it. Absolutely done, like, and that was in 57 seconds of the second round. Then Chris Holdsworth, Tough 18 winner, who trains with Alpha Male with Uriah Faber and Dillashaw, who's fighting against Henry. Against Chico Camus. Don't know the guy, strong competitor, apparently a well-rounded fighter, but Holdsworth won by unanimous decision. Did a bit more than just sat in the guy. There was a lot of scrambling, and there's a lot of negating of Chris, negating like your man's trying to get off and stuff like that. And there's a good, nice bit of back and forth in the stand-up. It was mainly a ground battle, mainly Chris kind of sitting on him, beating on him, trying to go good bit of ground and pound.
Thanks is active. It's like there's no problem.
Nothing heavy ground and pound, but kind of just constant, like, never, like, it doesn't really let him rest.
Yeah, well, I'd rather that than fucking rolling your shoulder into a guy's face with your legs extended and just holding him there for fucking hours.
I really, really don't like that. I get it, right? The reality is, if you're in a street fight and somebody can hold you down as long as they want to, you have lost.
Yeah. You
have lost. But then again, in that situation, don't you start going to poke their fucking eyes out and do other things, you know what I mean? If you're really in that situation. Oh yeah, and then, so hold on a decision. Tony Ferguson from Tough 13, he was the winner of Tough 13, and he's got a nice record of 3-1. And he's one of those dudes that he does get better at every fight. He's also another dude that one of the dudes I was saying that, like, I didn't like in the beginning. Yeah. He was a bit too cocky. But after each fight, he's vastly improved his skill and become more and more humble about it. Like, and he was against Katsunori Kikuno, this really fucking
good little fucker.
He's just this solid fucking, lot shorter, similar, obviously same weight class, but lot shorter reach. And he's got this kind of solid karate kind of stance, but he keeps himself rigid, straightforward the whole time, which can tend to confuse fighters. But with the reach that Tony Ferguson has, and his not just he's quite accurate at striking, but he tends to throw a good bit, like half the pace of a Diaz brother, but with more power than a Diaz.
Oh. Interesting.
So it wouldn't be as onslaught as a Diaz brother, but those kind of Stockton long fucking punches, you know, that you can't really get away from. And so eventually, near the, I think it was, I lost the fucking place here near the end of it was near the end of the first round. Your man, he just wasn't keeping his hands up, Kikuno, and eventually he got tagged a lot. Then he got that one kind of tag that made him kind of move in towards the cage, and then bang bang, crack at the right time. Sorry, it was his right hook turning in, cracked him across the face, and knocked him out.
Done. Really
nice KO. Then Michael Chiesa, a Tough 15 winner. He's a grinder. He takes people in deep waters. Serious grind. He's always able to hack in there till the end. Submission. Not boring though. Not boring grinding. Like, really takes it and gives it. Like, he was against Francisco Trinaldo, who's a Tough Brazil alumni. He didn't win it, but he was in it.
You know, it's serious as Tough Brazil.
Yeah,
to be honest.
He's strong, heavy hands, and he finishes fights quickly. But like you can assume immediately from hearing a grinder and a deep waters guy against a guy who's quick, strong, who's strong, heavy, and finishes fights quickly. Is
he better finish it in the fight quickly.
He better finish the fight quickly, or he's not gonna last. And so Jesse couldn't knock him out or submit him because he's a strong dude and he's Brazilian, so he knows his game. But he has to have won by decision.
Right.
So
roll.
I have to continue to record. Hold on a second. Just got to do this. Is this still recording? Please let me know if you. Okay, you're still recording. Did that record the whole conversation I had with
might have.
my mate?
Yeah, everyone's gonna know now. You're a little willy.
Oh no, my secret is out.
Everyone's known for years, Dan.
Yeah, I just scream gay like.
You do.
I just have it written across my face.
Yeah. Most fabulous man I know.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm so cleanly dressed and primed and like...
It's not that.
Look at my nails, like, look how much I take care of my lack of nails, which are now just stumps.
Everyone just calls you the bear's cum sock down in the Volco Bar.
The bear's cum sock.
Let's get inside and watch the fight.
The grizzly... You're the grizzly rag. You're the... Bring us the rag! And just come out in chains.
Skin a bullet.
Please. Can I just have some water? You're gonna have my jizz.
We're gonna get protein from the rats.
You want some protein? Oh, good God, no. So yeah, we're gonna watch the main 3 fights on the card, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the fights after they're done. So peace. That didn't pause. Yeah, that didn't pause. Peace. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. We are back with the free Bant Express MMA Train. 1 second. Oh, that's good gravy. Right, so unfortunately, my co-host, Chooie McCromack, will not be able to join us right now. He had to go home and finish off thing for work. Some fucking TPS reports or something of the sort. Either way, we didn't know the fights would go out. He didn't know the fights would go on as long as he did. But to be honest, I think he was just super nice and said he'll drop down. But he was quite busy today. For the most part, he was saying he's usually free, but he was quite busy today, so he had to go. But I told him, don't worry, I'll pick it up where we left off, and I'll carry the podcast on my own for the first time ever. Which is kind of weird not having someone else in the room to chat to. But I suppose there is someone else. I'm chatting to you, lovely people. Right. So the fight's going to go as follows. This particular card, I didn't pay attention to the earlier fights in the card. I can't even remember who was fighting because I pretty much just fast forwarded them because I said we were strapped for time. But the fights, obviously, I did see were the main 3. Robbie Lawler versus Jake Ellenberger. Straight off the bat, I knew this was going to be a war. These 2 guys bring it. They don't fuck around. They're, see, that's such a fucking stupid thing to say. Oh, these guys bring it. Oh, these guys don't fuck around. Of course, they're fucking ultimate fighters. They're UFC fucking mixed martial artists. You gotta bring it, or you're not there. If you're not bringing it, you're not there. Like, as simple as. And those people who do get in there and then stop bringing it, they go. But more to the sense of these 2 fucking guys love to just fucking trade. They're heavy fucking hitters, both of them. Oh, sorry. There you go. Wait. There, done. Sorry. Yeah, so both of these people have the ability to literally shut a person down at any fucking moment in the fight. It's kind of like when it was Hendricks versus Robbie Lawler, but there's something about it. Ellenberger seems to be better at flurries, just fucking serious flurries. Like when he sees someone's hurt, when he sees his moment, he's fucking like a rabid dog, just starts going crazy with punches. And it's sort of the same. I mean, Johnny Hendricks has that kind of thing, but it's just not as fucking reckless abandoned as Ellenberger. Yeah, he still puts, you know, enough concentration into where he's actually hitting the people. So he's not just like he's swinging for the fences, but it's not completely blindly. And you have Robbie Lawler, who's just he's more pinpoint accurate to strike, but he doesn't mind throwing and standing and banging as well and trading. So that's probably why he managed to make short fucking work of Ellenberger. He didn't beat the piss out of him. There was good back and forth, and there was a few times where, you know, he got fucking tagged and he got, like, Ellenberger brought it on. But overall, the 2 rounds kind of ended, they were Robbie Lawler's for the most part. I don't know, but they were. Like, they just were. It wasn't like when you saw fucking John Jones fight Shogun, where he was just absolutely outclassing him altogether. It wasn't like that. And it wasn't like Hendricks versus Lawler, where they were kind of fucking 50-50 for majority of the fight. It was a lot more Robbie Lawler's fight, and in the 3rd round, Robbie Lawler ended up finishing him. Knocked him out. He had earlier on hit him with a leg kick to the body, and that stifled him. Because Jake tends to kind of drop his head and drop his shoulder when he goes for a hook. He was kind of on that drop when he was going against the cage to kind of push or dirty box or something against Robbie. He just lifted the knee up and Robbie cracked him. That sort of fucking half buckled him, sort of dropped him, and then Robbie just fucking swarmed, and that was it. That was the end of the fight. That was the 3rd round. That was halfway through. I don't know. I'm not going to say when it was in the 3rd round because I've no idea. I honestly couldn't be sure. But it was fucking really, really cool and really nice to see that. Sometimes when you see a fighter and they fight again, like you see 2 fighters and one's a champion or one's going to be the champion, one's up and coming, and one is like the guy who's been around for ages, but he's still fucking got it. He's come back and he's got it, and he's been kind of away for a while, but he's improved and he's here. And then he is against another guy who just kind of popped up and just been knocking people fucking through, knocking down doors all the way to the right place. And when the 2 of them fought, there was this worry of, I hope that after this loss, this wasn't all Robbie Lawler's fire that he had coming back left. You know, that he had it, and then once that didn't happen, that he was like, fuck, you know, that was the end of the run. And that if he did fight again, that he wouldn't put it on or something. I don't know. It probably wouldn't happen, and I knew it would have been alright, but I couldn't help but have that thought in the back of my head. So I was so happy that he didn't just, he won by decision. No, he beat Jake Ellenberger well. And he's like, it was basically a much of a, yeah, I didn't beat Hendricks that time, but I still deserve to be on that higher tier. Look what I just did, you know? So that was fucking cool. Fucking feel shit for Jake Ellenberger, because like, it sucks to lose. And I love that guy. Well, I don't love that guy. I don't know him. But, if I had a fucking euro or a dollar or whatever currency you have, drachma, zloty, I'm pretty sure none of them exist anymore. For every time I said but N, I'd have enough money to have my own fucking studio. In the brief like 7 or 8 podcasts that I've done. But there we go. But Jesus fucking Christ. I'm just not going to dwell on that. I'm just not going to dwell on it and let it go, because the more I dwell on it, the more I make notice, the more people are going to pay attention, the more you can pay attention, and then it's going to be, I'm not going to be really constant about it, I'm going to have to fucking, start, writing up on Facebook and telling people how it's like wrecked my life and how I can't get over this, and how it's becoming a major thing, and then have all people going, oh my god, no, you're so cool, oh my god, don't worry, oh my god, like loads of people do to get fucking attention on Facebook, and it's like, not shame on them, shame to the people who, like, give them that attention. It's like, you're just as bad as that guy who saw people like fucking beating the shit out of a child or a woman and just stood there and did nothing. You're terrible. You're terrible. Shouldn't be feeding this disease of neediness, unnecessary neediness. Nevertheless, I can't wait to fucking see Robbie Lawler back again. And Jake Ellenberger is an awesome fighter, and I can't wait to see him back. And his fights are really fucking good to watch, because when he fucks with people, he really fucks people up. And for the most part, he's been beaten, but I've never seen him, like, absolutely taking the piss out of, you know? So, like, he always still has, you can't really sleep on that guy, you know, and I like that. So I hope he comes back stronger, and I can't wait to see Robbie Lawler fight again. Then there was, Daniel Cormier versus Dan Henderson. Man. I genuinely, my heart, like, strings in my heart were pulled and plucked. And it went, I was watching Dan Henderson. He's such a fucking hero, man. He's such a fucking legend. A kick ass fucking, like, what's the word, pantheon? No, moniker? No. Staple? Representative of that entire sport. He is a legend. He's been there in Pride since the beginning of the fucking, that kind of style shit. He was in Pride, he went up, and in UFC now, and he's still fighting some of the best. He's one of the few of Pride fighters left who is still hanging around up there with some of the best, and can never really be counted out. But to see Daniel Cormier toss him around was so upsetting, but at the same time, you're in fucking awe of how unbelievably skilled Daniel Cormier is. I want to state that I am not one of those people who slept on Cormier's ability and gave him the shit that people were giving him about, like, oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's fought. Yeah, you've seen his highlight reel, but it's all nobodies. And it's like, first of all, it's not nobodies. It's just not. It's fucking Goliaths in K1 and in fucking Strikeforce who are now huge in UFC, or like had their staple in UFC. Like that flip of Josh Barnett. You don't flip Josh Barnett like that. People don't do that. He's one of those guys who was able to do what he did so well for so long because he was just naturally a fucking strong dude anyway. So the fact that he had skill and technique made him a motherfucker of an opponent because he was so fucking strong. And then Cormier just fucking flipped him. That was insane. He's fought Roy Nelson. So he's fought guys who are known for serious, not just fight, but almost career-ending kind of fucking hits. When you see those things, those bombs that Roy Nelson lands, your brain just can't help but the instant go, oh my god, like you just watched a car crash or something. It's just like, fuck, when those hits happen, they're so serious. He fought him no problem. He kept away, kept turning, fighting away, moving away, circling from his fucking power hand, and kept his distance, kept sticking and moving and jabbing him with shots. Like, this guy has serious, legit experience. People also forget, and I've heard people like Twitter and especially YouTube and shit. YouTube, the cunt camp, like the place where all the cunts get to run free range cunts. It's literally, you know, chickens, they do their thing in a field. Free range chickens just bark, you know, they fucking peck or whatever, no bother. They're also the stupidest fucking creatures on the planet. Pretty much same thing with YouTube comments. Just a free range cunt farm. It's ridiculous. Nevertheless, they always have something of, oh, fucking Cormier's like got tubby, man. He's tubby, like fucking, he's fat, like blah blah, or all this shit's like, you know, you need to get some fucking cardio in there, son. Okay, that guy's cardio was sick. It's absolutely, have you ever watched his fights? It's absolutely sick. And it is crazy because he does look like a guy who shouldn't be as good as he is at cardio, but he's one of those body types, I want to say it's an endomorph. I think it's an endomorph, where it doesn't really matter how much training and fucking like lean eating and tightening and ripping of his muscles and sticking that flesh right to the fucking muscle line, Vitor Belfort style TRT. No matter how much he tries that, he'll still always have that kind of a shapeliness to him. If he wants to maintain healthiness and be able to move around and be practical, as opposed to just doing crazy one-sided fucking exercises, so he will no longer have a bit of a love handle and will have a rigid washboard stomach. Well, that's not going to help him fight, and that's, like, he's not at his physical peak of healthy, proper, like, everything in balance, and he's like that. When he is, he's just one of those people that is naturally has that bit of kind of weight to him. But unlike the likes of Shogun, no offense to Shogun, in his later years, which is odd because he's still really young, he had that extra kind of thing on the sides, extra little flab and stuff like that. But he did gas out. He just did. That was the end of it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those lads from the old days, it's not a joke that, or it's not like a secret that in Pride they were on everything. They're on absolutely everything. So when then you go into a situation, we can't do that stuff anymore, and you've spent a lot of time and your body's broken down and repaired with this extra sauce, this extra nos, it probably takes a massive toll or a permanent kind of chip out of the finite amount of fights you can have or hits you can take or times where you can push past the limit of tiredness. It probably takes a massive chunk out of that, which is why when they got to the later on in the UFC years, you could see the cardio for a while in that, especially in the light heavyweight class. When the belt was changing hands back and forth, Rashad, Machida, Rampage, a lot like Shogun, there wasn't cardio wasn't one of the biggest fucking factors in that at the time. And I wonder if it was because of the way those guys were training, the way those guys were having their regime and their lifestyle and their stuff that was going into their system, and more so the lack of the ability to do that now, you know, be it by their body can't take it anymore or regulations or whatever, you know. But all that aside, and before I say anything about Cormier and the fight, I want to say, sorry, tea. This is very watery tea. It's just milky sugar water that's slightly brown. Yeah, Dan Henderson did an amazing job in not getting caught, not allowing Cormier to win so much earlier, because there was about almost every scramble that they were in, Cormier could have potentially had him in a position where he is like totally owned the fight. It's crazy to watch the control and power he had over Dan Henderson. It's creepy because Dan Henderson's such a fucking beast. Like, he's such a fucking beast by naturality. Like, he's not one of those dudes who, if he wasn't living this lifestyle, he wouldn't be the same as he is now. Like, you know, lads, you know, in school, whatever, and then they're gangly and tall, or they're whatever size, and then you meet them like 10 years later at the end of your 20s, and they've been doing like mad fucking training and mad this shit. Now they're big fuckers and whatever. He's not one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes who was always a big cunt. He just was. He was always a kind of dude that whatever age gap you were around him, you're like, I probably wouldn't fight him. I probably wouldn't fight him. He's just a big cunt, and he got tossed around the gap and still managed to keep his wits about him, and like, he was gassed really early. I don't know how much the difference is in gas between when you start to open and breathe with your mouth until the point where you can't even lift your hands. It absolutely varies for every person, but he was already opening and breathing out of his mouth once the second round started. And yet, he's still, he kept moving, he kept scrambling, he kept shrimping, he kept hip escaping, he kept trying to just not let Cormier have 100% ability to do what he wanted with them. And that's a fucking testament itself to Dan Henderson's ability, because while all this was happening and being thrown around in the ground and trying to get Kimuras and trying to get this and trying to get the full mount on him and all this, of Dan Henderson trying to block him away and everything like that, while all that's happening, Cormier was still making a note to fucking land hits, land fucking, like, every once in a while. It wouldn't be like bam 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 bam, and then he moves again, and then bam bam bam. It'd be like he'll have him, and then bang bang, 2 serious fucking body shots. Then no shot for a bit, and then bang 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 bang, crack, 2-3 little pats, and then a crack to the fucking face, and it just kept going on like that. So, like, fair play, and that's a testament to Dan Henderson's experience. For a normal average fighter who isn't experienced like that, there's no way they could have lasted to what Cormier was doing to Dan for 30 seconds, or for like 2-3 minutes, let alone 3 rounds in it. You know what I mean? But so, like, when you know what you're looking at when you're watching fighting, you don't see that going, oh, Henderson shit, what a loser. You look at it going, fuck, that's a fucking warrior going out in a shield, like a hero, and that's another dude who is the new breed, which is ironic because he's kind of old in comparison to some of the actual new breeds, but I don't see him going away soon. He seems to be very set on, I've just started in here and I got a lot of things to do before I'm even thinking of leaving. He wants that belt. And that is going to be a motherfucker of a fight. If there is a guy who could beat John Jones, that isn't Gustafsson. See, we say Gustafsson because he did come closer than anyone else did at beating John at his own game. But I can see Cormier tossing Jones. Maybe. Maybe not, but kinda yeah. The way he got it's weird, okay, because Cormier did the same thing he did Josh Barnett to Dan Henderson, but even quicker. When he flipped him, it was even quicker, and tossed him around. But there was also, I don't think he'll be able to do that kind of stuff with John Jones, just because of the shape and style and frame that John Jones is. But there was a lot of, when he was on the ground, when Cormier was on top of Henderson, he would, instead of having to try and move and switch and shift to get a leg in or to get himself over, he literally just picked Dan Henderson up in a scooch. He'll have rise him enough up the ground enough that his driving force is enough to move Dan Henderson about 2.5 to 3 feet across the mat. Like, when you see people want to pull away from the cage, they pull away out of the legs, they try and get them and then push on top of them and make them move, and by stifling them, the person will get their hips up, and then when the person on the ground moves their hips up, that's enough for the person to grab them and pull them away. No, Dan Henderson was in full guard, I'm pretty sure, and Cormier just kind of half scooped him, and then in that half scoop, that lifted him up the ground enough that the rest of the force could be used horizontally forward to just push Dan Henderson, and he literally half rotated. So what, Dan Henderson's kind of left side was up against the left back was up against the cage, and then if you're Dan Henderson and your head and left ear is up against the cage, you turned around. He was turned to his left, so his left shoulder went from hitting the cage to moving away from the cage, and then he was now facing the cage 2.5 feet away, completely turned to 180 almost, by Dan Cormier literally just choosing to move him. It was fucking bizarre to see. It was not so much jiu-jitsu as it was, "Jew, move the fuck over here, or swear to God." It was weird. Because it didn't look as well Dan Henderson was being tossed around. It was what's happening? It was really weird. It was freak power, and I think that's that kind of stuff that could fuck up with John Jones. He's so fucking skilled. Cormier's so skilled that if he ends up getting any kind of position where he can use his weight against him, that's where Jones I think is going to have a huge fucking problem. So that's going to be interesting to see. Nevertheless, near the end of the third round, Cormier kind of trips him. I think it was he trips where he went to roll, or he went to get up, and that's it. Henderson was grabbing the leg as Cormier was getting up. Fuck, I can't remember. Literally, I just watched the fight and it's already gone with my memory. Either way, there was at some point Henderson was like half on his knees, half about to sit up on his knees. But he wasn't going to sit up at his knees, but he was just in mid-position, so that was kind of the position he was in when Cormier just got the back of him, hooks right down in, and then just stretched him up, pulled him up, had him on his side. Then Henderson was kind of trying to fight it, Cormier was on his left shoulder, then rolled back over to his right shoulder, and then pulled him the whole way around so that Henderson was on his belly. And that choke, he just fucking sunk it in, and I will say Evil Levine took half a second too long to, like, he saw it, he got it, but when someone's out that cold and they've been getting a beating that long, you gotta pay more attention, but to be honest, I just think Evil Levine's made so many bad calls, I'm kind of quick to catch him on anything, so that's probably my own personal fucking sticking to Evil Levine. Fuck you, Evil Levine! Ref properly, for God's sake. You son of a bitch. Just do what Herb Dean does. That's just what you should do. Or fucking Big John McCarthy. He's beast. It's Big John McCarthy, Herb Dean, and Dave. It's Dave. It's something Dave. The three of them are fucking brilliant refs, especially Big John and Herb. They really are stellar. Evil Levine is better than Steve Mazzagatti, which is odd because Steve Mazzagatti was good for a bit. But no, do you know what it was? When I started watching UFC is the only time I remember him being good, and I probably had no fucking clue, which I didn't. I didn't have a clue, but I was looking half the time. So I probably didn't know about all the shit calls he made, because as soon as I started to understand what was going on, nearly every call Mazzagatti made was shit. So at least, Evil Levine, you have that to your credit. You're better than Mazzagatti. But yeah, so Cormier he could have gone with the decision, but he really went in for it and choked him out, rear naked choke in the, oh god, I want to say last 45-50 seconds of the third round. I don't know if it was that close to the end, but it was pretty fucking close to the end, like. It was definitely more than halfway. So that was a great fucking win for Cormier. Complete domination. Dan Henderson was absolutely out cold. Cormier had already got up. Dan Henderson was then turned on his back. And then a few seconds later, like a second and a half later, the camera, when like Cormier's like, woo, celebrating, camera then goes back as Cormier walks over, see how he's doing, and that's when kind of he wakes up and he sees the people in front of him, and he's like, he literally, I think you hear Joe Rogan saying, and he is just realising right now, you know, that he's now here, what's going on. Can't remember the quote from Joe Rogan, I'm butchering what he said, but it was based on the lines of, yeah, the camera looked at the right time, so you could see Henderson's face, and he's like, just copped, I'm not where I was last time I remember where I was. You're not, yeah, okay, I got choked out. Alright. So if you feel bad for him, but at the same time, I don't think Dan Henderson's one of those fighters, man, that he could never have a fight where you watch him and you're like, fuck it, man, I don't care anymore if he wins or whatever, I don't care. He's just not one of those fighters. You're always, even if you're rooting for his competitor, you're still rooting, going, come on, Dan Henderson, I don't mind if you win, if you throw that ball. I don't care. That's okay. As if the fighter if you're fighting someone who I love, and I'm fucking dying for that person to win, and they're kicking your ass, especially if you're losing, and then just in the silence between the fighter suggesting what move he's going to do next, in that silence, just calm before the storm, and then that's it. You just hear this slap, and the lights are fucking out. The lights aren't out. Someone has just pressed the plunger of all the fucking strategically placed death cord that's gonna destroy and demolish the building. It is insane to watch, and that's why I love watching him fight, because it's, well, that's not just one of the reasons. He's an awesome person, an awesome fighter. But it's just that thing, like, you can win. I don't care if it's someone against someone I love. If you win because of how you win, the kind of dude you are, it's like, yeah, you still fucking got it. So it's fucking awesome. So even if he loses, he's still fucking awesome. But fair fucking play to Cormier. He made wipe the fucking floor with them. It was like watching an adult toss around a child. That is actually a quote from Joe Rogan, so that's not mine. I'm not going to take credit for it. That's exactly what it was. It was ridiculous. Brilliant display. Cormier showed he already has shown. I don't know why he needed to show again, but if people doubted that he wasn't that good before, because there wasn't, people would be like, oh, but like Dan Henderson's always Dan Henderson's not a guy that easy to just shut the fuck down and just like bully. You don't bully Dan Henderson, and he bullied Dan Henderson. So yeah, boo the bus. That's a round of applause. For those who don't speak Osquelga. By the way, if you say Osquelga, chances are you don't actually speak Osquelga. So I was talking about it like this, like. See, you can be speaking English when you're talking like that, and even people speaking English won't understand what you're saying. I was going to go to work, and I came back, and I stopped, and the road's going to get a shovel into the fucking dog side, and before the kids come home, got a bed of dog. You go back to work. I basically said, yes, I was take off work there, go on my break during lunch, and buy a shovel to bury the dog. The dog just died, and I want to make sure it's done and buried before the kids come home, then I could go back to work. Yep. That's genuinely how they sound. Those culty folk. No, I'm only messing. There's a significant thing of every culture on every planet that there is always at least two types of accents in any country. Even if it's just one, there is at least one where even the people who speak the language fluently, when they're speaking that accent, they're totally native with that accent for a particular slang or type of place in the country they're from. Every country in the world, no one has a fucking clue what they're saying. And only time that they do is because they've been around them their whole life and have had to, adjust and learn. Like, it's like the British has yes, Finland. I said to the substance of name. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. This is a woman, right? She did one petticoat, only one petticoat. I could see her ankles. It was disgusting. It was disgraceful. I told her to go home, you whore. No, as they're saying, it's too bluffy, it's too bumbling, it's ridiculous. Then you have the old country, like, country Irish man, it's just one only words together, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of when you just run your words together, and you have, like, the American, which would be, like, I say, probably the hick. They're going down round here, going to make moon down, you know what I mean? Go dig gold. Go dig some gold. You shoot some fucking niggers. Woo! I'm not saying that all people who have that accent do want to shoot African Americans. I also will say that it would be impossible to state that that would never happen. Because there probably is one or two. There's always one. Where am I going with this? I have no idea. Anyway, back to the fights. Jesus Christ. See, this is why I need somebody else to talk with, so that I don't do these things and just run off on my own fucking ridiculous talks of bollocks. But yeah, the main event. Wow. Now, unfortunately, I scrolled too far on Facebook or YouTube one of the days and happened to see a picture, and I assumed it was not what I thought it was, but I thought I kind of knew who won. I was right. I did unfortunately see the picture. It was the picture that I saw of the winner talking to Joe Rogan. And it didn't matter that I knew who won, because I couldn't believe how he won. It was breathtaking to watch. It was fucking insane. Barao is legitimately one of the best fighters or displayers of a fucking skill I've seen at a sport in fucking history. Like, he's up there with the greats. I don't care if he hasn't been there that long. Man, his record is fucking insane. And the types of fighters he has just picked apart and just destroyed with such little effort and overall minimal damage throughout his whole fucking career. It's crazy. His record, his entire style, it's insane. And he's this really happy, woo, party kind of, woo, life-loving dude. He doesn't seem to be super fucking serious and overly fucking crazy or fucking, you know, I'm determined, I gotta fucking do this, I gotta be the best. No, it's just like, this is what I love, this is my passion, I believe I'm the best, and I believe that I have the skills, and, you know, and I love this, and this is fun, and when he wins, he's so fucking happy, like, he's not just overwhelmed or, wow, I'm fucking monster. Like, everyone gets that kind of little thing when they first win, but he just looks so happy. He's a fucking phenomenal. Like, Uriah Faber is one of the, when I started watching it, he was one of my favourite fighters. One of my fucking favourite fighters. That whole thing of, like, you know, when I first started watching and he comes out to California Love, and he's just like, California Love, and the camera cuts to him, and he comes running right out, and he's got his headband and his dreadlocks, and he's just, California Love. It's fucking, welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. And he's just there getting his fucking basil in his face, rapping to the tunes, and as he's running to the ring as well, he's just, wow, wow, fucking made a party, getting the crowd to fucking cheer. And he's just this crazy, hilarious dude. And I was watching that when I first watched one of his fights, and I was like, this seems awesome. Please don't get your ass kicked, because a lot of times people who put on big spectacles are compensating. At least that's what I thought, because I'd only started getting into the UFC, and then he came out, and fucking hell, that guy was a fucking thunderstorm. It was a whirlwind. It was crazy. Now my memory is fucking diabolical, so I can't remember who it was he fought. It should pop back into my head, but oh my god, wait, was the first fight I saw WEC with him? And was it against Carlos Condit? Did they even fight? That's not true, they never fought. What the fuck was it against? See, this is why I need another reason why I need someone else with me to fucking check facts and shit. Nevertheless, he's unbelievable. I've always loved that fighter, and he's always been awesome. That doesn't change the fact that him and Barao both times bet the fucking piss out of him. And it's really sad to say, but it happened. It absolutely happened. Yeah, so he's the trainer for, well, one of the proteges, like the Mr. Miyagi's or whatever of TJ Dillashaw. He was in the UFC on Tough. He was in on his team. He trains the alpha male and stuff like that. He's got Ludwig as his striking coach and everything. And you see Benavidez and you see Holdsworth, who won his fight. Fair play. And they're good. They're good. But there's something that just they have their opportunity. Like Benavidez, he did so good, but he just, okay, then he misses a motherfucker, but still. And Uriah is so good, but that title fight was just out of his reach still. And you think the same about, and Dwayne Ludwig as well. He was fucking brilliant, but just still he didn't reach that. And I assume, well, you presume you deduce something will be similar. Oh no, my fucking tea! Oh my god, I'm so angry. I'm gonna clean this up later. I don't actually care. There's so much tea everywhere. Oh my god. Well, people pay a lot of money to tea stain their shit. I just did it for free. Fucking bollocks. Anyway, so one would deduce that it would possibly be the same thing, you know. But you see TJ Dillashaw, and he's looks like he's already a UFC fighter when he's in tough. Like when he's fighting these dudes, you feel like he's a guy who was in UFC, but no one said anything, and then he got hurt and injured, so he was out for ages, and then he came back, but he couldn't get a fight, so he ended up getting onto tough, and it's like, you shouldn't be here. You are clearly ahead on many different ways than these people. You're higher echelon, you know. But it was not put together properly, right? Nevertheless, he still went on to fucking win. To win tough, and then you see him after every fight, and he's better, and he's better. And then sometimes fighters come out and you can't remember what they're like when they won their when they win their tough fight. You're waiting to see what they'll be like against someone who's already been in the UFC, and he does well. And then his next fight, and he does well. I'm sorry, I'm not like Joe Rogan. I can't list every single fucking fighter he fought and where they fought. I just can't. I wish I could, but I can't. And hopefully over the years I will. Ow, that was my elbow. So he's gotten improved. But at no point are you sitting there going, oh, he's totally going to take Barao. Because how? Like how? How could he do that? And then you watch the fight, and from the second the bell goes, you're like, oh my god. Oh my god. What level good is this when this is happening? Because from the get-go, his entire movement and Barao trying to get his movement was like someone who just finished tough going into the UFC for the first time against someone who's been there. And no discredit to Barao, because throughout the fight he did, like, he ended up cutting TJ, and like, he nullified a lot of shit in the ground. And by a lot of shit I mean pretty much everything. But then again, for TJ Dillashaw to be so bold with Barao on the ground and on top of him, there's a lot of limbs just kind of left there in a way. That showed super fucking confidence, or it showed either A, that Barao was already so fucking fatigued or confused or something, that he just wasn't instinctively waiting for all these things that people can make mistakes, or traps people can leave, or things people can leave to get trapped in a jiu-jitsu battle. Or he was stifled from the punches, or he was dazed, or he lost the mind battle, which I don't think that's true of Brazilians at all. Didn't they ever lose the mind battle? I don't know what it was, but TJ was very like, if it was anyone else, if it was someone who was just starting against someone who's known for submission, they would have been fucking done. They would have been done in. There was a lot of times where things could have been taken. Limbs could have been taken. There wasn't. He just kept moving. He didn't get held down once, but it wasn't this abstract, random, for no reason moving. It was like all purposeful, and he'd like have his hands low and he'd bait him in, and then when Renan Barao would move, TJ wouldn't be there, which says loads, because Barao, one of the things he has is he's so fucking quick. He's so fucking quick. He's kind of what helped him beat Uriah. He's so quick, and he's got power to his hits. More power than Uriah kind of has, or at least had against him. But TJ Dillashaw has power, as we evidently found out, because he knocked fucking Barao to the floor in the first round, which surprised pretty much everybody. And from then on, it was pretty much a clinic. He didn't allow Barao to get anything on the ground. Kind of looked like he was trying for stuff, but at the same time was just as well happy to scramble, to move around, to be unpredictable, and to kind of just tap and hit and go for whatever punches, bit of ground and pound, whatever that he could, try for a submission here and there. Standing, yeah, Barao got him. Like, he tagged him a few times, he hit him a few times, and there was a tag here, and one or two nice, good few jabs, and nice fucking kicks as well, powerful kicks. But nothing, it's not that Barao didn't do anything, it was just nothing that Barao did seemed to do much to change the speed, the level, the gear, the pace, the momentum, and the amount of weapons that Dillashaw was throwing non-stop, was just giving this non-stop. It was like watching like a Diaz kind of style pressure on somebody, but with a fucking Carlos Condit kind of style mix of striking, you know, with Anderson Silva's style complete lack of fear or need to be worried about being in your guard. You know, it was, and it's so fucking strange to say all these things and compare all these things with these names, these fighters' names, with the fighter who, for most people who aren't too crazy about UFC, don't really know who the fuck he is, for the most part. And if you don't, it shows you're not paying attention. But even if you do, you still don't expect that. Like, I would have liked TJ Dillashaw to win. If I was gonna bet, I probably would have bet on both of them, just to be safe, because Barao's record and everything on paper is so fucking stellar. It seems almost illogical not to put money on him, but there is that thing about TJ Dillashaw when you see him in his fights, you see him on Tough, and you hear Uriah Faber talk about this dude, and you're like, if there is gonna be a guy who can make an upset to someone who shouldn't be able to be upset, he's one of those dudes. Especially looking at the pool at the moment. But Christ, like, standing, I'm gonna stand right now and standing Bullabus to TJ Dillashaw, new UFC bantamweight champion of the world, and just like every single fucking member of Team Alpha Male wanted at the bottom of their heart, they would have loved them all to get medals, or to get medals. What is this? Fucking the egg and spoon race. Well done. Here's a little medal. To get the belt. The fact that the belt came back to Team Alpha Male. The belt came to Team Alpha Male. Benavidez not missed his opportunity, but Benavidez unfortunately just didn't have what he needed to defeat Mighty Mouse. Uriah just didn't have what he needed to defeat him, and Holdsworth is only starting. He will get really good, but he's not there yet. The fact that TJ was able to do that and bring it back, I said they're all fucking super fucking happy in general, and so happy with him, and they should be happy with themselves for what they helped create. One of his abilities is he's a sponge, and yeah, he was cocky on the show, and I wasn't really too keen on him on the show because he was kind of cocky, but he has a natural gift, and he's a fucking sponge. He absolutely absorbed everything that those guys taught him. His Bang Muay Thai is better than Uriah Faber's. It's quicker, it's faster, it's more mixed up, and the angles and the distance that he can cover is of a higher level. And it's the same with Benavidez. Benavidez is super quick, but he doesn't have the same onslaught of constant pressure that, because he does have constant pressure, but it's more, it's weird. Dillashaw just had this overall better game of that, and he has, like, there's aspects of his game when he did a standing guillotine standing rear naked choke. I can't remember his name. He literally just ran over, got him against cage, standing rear naked choke. Well, it wasn't like the fight started and he did that, but anyway. There's a few things to his game that you can see are very much Uriah Faber, especially how he handles his submissions and like his heavy submissions, like the guillotine, the fucking the rear naked, and just kind of how he maneuvers sometimes with shit, with grappling and maybe against the cage. Sort of, there's some kind of I don't know. I'm giving a very very bad description here, but there is certain little traits that you can tell he got that from Uriah, and there's certain little things you can say he got that from Ludwig. That's Ludwig, but he's got that what they got, but he's done it better. He's got a better polished version of it, you know, and it's like the amalgamation of all of their abilities into this one dude, who happens to also be a super sponge and naturally talented, so that when they amalgamated and they gave him, and he took in their lessons and stuff, it wasn't just things extra that he added to his game, as in, I'm already this, and now I can also do this, and a bit of this. No, it was completely taken in and, what's the word, absorbed and distributed throughout his skill technique, you know. And he's just, it's wow, man, what a fucking fight. What a fucking fight. Because what makes that fight absolutely insane, is that he didn't win by decision. He knocked the guy out. Dillashaw knocked him out. Not knocked him out cold. He dazed him, and then he started swarming on him. And that wasn't it. Herb Dean had seen it. Wasn't the first time he got swarmed on either. It was the end of the near the end of the round. Probably the last minute and a half. Last round as well. So Herb Dean has seen enough. He kind of went down. He got him he hit him once or twice when he tagged him. And when he rocked him, and then that's when he kind of went up against the cage and he hit him again. He hit against the cage. Like hit like a safety wall, bang, okay, thanks, that was there to catch me. And then kind of Dillashaw was already there on him, and he went to like kind of half turtle up, but his body kind of dropped anyway, just from the sheer whatever of everything, of all the rounds, whatever, he more dropped to his kind of against the cage, back against the cage, legs up, knees up, bent, arse in the cage kind of thing, and fucking Dillashaw just fucking swarming. Those swarms weren't pats, they were like, or taps, they were like fight ending punches for the most part. Like, they weren't Donkey Kong smashes, but they were enough that, like, they weren't taps. It wasn't just a swarm just to see if the guy gets annoyed enough and if the fight, no, it was just bang, 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 and everything was alright, that's it, and that's it, that was it. He fucking creamed him. He Crim Campbelled him to fuck. Crim Campbell's a skater. I don't know if he's still skating anymore. He used to be a pro skater. Tony Hawk's 2 days. He's called Crim Campbell's soup. Nevertheless, he just feel bad for him, bro. But at the same time, it's insane because Barao made Faber look like Faber was in the wrong league, and Dillashaw made Barao look like Barao was in the wrong league. And I know there's the whole thing with the weight cut. I know that he naturally walks around closer to Aldo's weight class, but he cuts because he's not going to fight Aldo because Aldo's a champ. Plus, I have a feeling that he's very fast at his weight, at the bantamweight. And Aldo is very quick at, oh shit, what's up from bantamweight? Lightweight. Hold on, tea. Oh, it's still warm despite the fact that 97% of it's spilt. Yeah, so where was I? Shit, I hit a pothole. Nevertheless, it, like, oh yeah, the weight class, that's right, yeah. So I think that even though Barao has a speed in bantamweight, if he moved up a class, he mightn't have it, holding that extra weight on him, even though it's more natural for him, holding the extra weight might kind of balance his speed out to the fact that if he is going to be fighting Aldo, it'll balance it out, because I think he's as fast as Aldo already. And if that is going to make him a bit more slower because he's holding more weight, even though it's more naturally better for him and he can probably last longer, I think Aldo will be faster than him. Saying that as well, one of the things that he has is his power in his hands, because he's a bigger dude who cuts weight. He will now be around the same weight as these dudes, so the power wouldn't be as dominant. Then again, you could say that he might be quicker, or as quick, because he's now fighting at a normal weight, so he doesn't have to, body doesn't go through so much strain, so he's got a much better overall reserve. So it's iffy to say, but I think Aldo, well, see, that would be actually a great fight. I don't know if it would be, I don't think it would be a hands-out decision, straight off decision, that, or straight off fucking answer that Aldo would win. Probably would put my money on him. Then again, I think it would make for a fantastic fight. So there is the whole thing of when people cut weight, was it a bad cut? Was it a good cut? What were they doing afterwards? How much time did they have? Where did they fly to? What's the deal with the time gap and the jet lag and all these kind of things? What temperature are they going to? You know, there's so many different fucking variables when you're, especially when you're making a big weight cut, that can affect how the weight cut goes, your overall performance. And by the way, this is not from my experience whatsoever. I have no fucking experience in any of this. I'm just reiterating what people who have a fuckload of experience about said. Like, one of the huge things, if anyone listens to MMA stuff, is like they talk about weight cutting all the time, like especially listening to Joe Rogan. But they're good discussions. Like, they're really good shit when you listen to that kind of stuff, because it helps any fucking person as well in regards to like good health and good. Like, here's the thing: a UFC fighter is probably one of the most naturally fucking fit, all around peak fucking athlete you can come across. And I was like, oh man, I play fucking football and I can do this and I play this and I can do that, and it's like, yeah, but you can do one kind of facet super well. This is all around functional, general athletic ability of all your movements for a long, constant duration of non-stop while taking damage and doing all these things. There's just so much to it. Like, your entire lifestyle has to be that. So when they are good staples to watch for, like, okay, I don't have to exercise like a UFC fighter exercises. I certainly don't have to be strict with my diet like a UFC fighter would be with how they eat. But, you know, the general idea of maybe try to eat healthier, not like, I'm only going to eat vegetables, but like, just try not to eat as much shit and try to eat a bit healthier, and if it's a nice day, walk, you know, instead of just driving, if it's just down the road. Things like that, like, only those little things that, because like when you hear about someone doing something awesome, like, I'd love to do that. If you're going to do it, chances are the effort you're going to put into it is going to be such a fucking fraction, like, but that's actually okay. Especially when the thing you're aiming for and the fraction of it is actually pretty still quite substantial, because the thing you're aiming for is so big. Even myself, I'm noticing that, like, I'm not super fit, but I am definitely more naturally healthy than I was. Just from following that stuff. Not from following shit, but just from, like, deciding not to eat as much fucking crap, and to take advantage of the fact that it's not raining in Ireland today. I'll walk to the local shop. Or scratch it, it's not that it's raining. It's not pissing rain, torrential. No, it's fucking arc style with ridiculous fucking gusts of winds that seem to blow from absolutely every direction and don't breathe. It's not like calm and then a force of wind and then calm. It's just wind, 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 and you're like, wow, the weather is so goddamn rude and persistent. It's ridiculous. It's opportunistic dickhead weather. It's just grey, dismal, ultra realistic or narcissistic, pessimistic fucking shit. Like, but nevertheless, changing like your diet and stuff like that is for the better. But when you're talking about that level of fucking game, it can have a serious difference, and that could be a reason why he wasn't as spry. I remember wasn't as spry as some people might used to see him, and he's like, you know, respectful. You know, he wasn't like fuck this, and he wasn't like this, you know, really upset or sad or no. He obviously lost to me. He was like, no, respect. He did good. This was his night. He did it. He got the belt, and he did better than me. Well done. But I'll be back. I believe he will be back, and I believe that if his weight cut and all that kind of stuff, and it goes to its best possible time, where you've seen him sometimes in his performances in the octagon, Barao isn't going to get any better than he already is. He will just get better at, you know, all he can, weight conditioning and cutting, everything like that. Like, I know we can still improve, and I'm not anyone to say that I have a fucking, like, ability to read any of this shit, because I don't know, I'm just a fan. But I don't think he's going to be able to add anything special or different or new to his overall physical ability, or traits, and skill repertoire. I think the most he can do is maintain a much better regulated weight cut, so he's on top performance every time he fights. TJ Dillashaw is still improving. He's John Jones style. I know he hasn't earned the level that John Jones has earned right now, but I mean in the style as in, this guy has just come up and stomped people. Just bet them around the gaff, outclassed, outweaponed, outnumbered, outgunned every person they fought. Even ones that were like, ooh, this is a good test, and oh, he got hurt. For the most part, it was just like, oh, okay. There were moments in the fight where it was like, ooh, but for the rest of those moments, he wasn't losing, you know? They're still sponges. Dillashaw's still in the prime. He's still learning and growing and improving. His fucking intent is there to keep improving, keep getting better. I think Renan Barao has a good chance to beat him, but I don't think it's going to be a clear victory for Renan Barao again. As in the same way the odds were. Like, I don't think it's going to be one of those, oh, the odds, well, Barao did get us beaten, but, you know, he's back and the odds are kind of 50-50, still a bit more in the champ's favour, but I can see him possibly winning by just fact, but I don't see him at all being able to do to Dillashaw what Dillashaw did to him. At all. So, short of being stupid and getting caught in a submission, or Barao hitting the mark perfectly and just landing that cracking shot that rocks him or knocks him out. If it doesn't knock him out, it rocks him enough to just swarm. Short from that happening, which I don't see Barao beating Dillashaw. And I like rematches when it's those fights where it's like, is it this, and then someone just ends up cracking someone and hitting them, and then just hits that point and swarms. And then they fight again, and it's like, oh, it's kind of whatever. Oh, he took him down. Oh my god, he missed a beat. Oh, he choked him out. And now it's one apiece, you know what I mean? And then it's like, who's going to win that third round? I don't think there's a reason for rematches and big hypes when one guy fought another guy and in every aspect of the game completely outclassed him. It's like, I don't think there's a need for Junior Dos Santos to ever fight Cain Velasquez again. I love Junior Dos Santos. And I know I don't know that guy, but I love that guy. He is awesome. since I started watching him, he was fucking cool. I never saw a guy in the heavyweight division box and hit and strike the way he fucking struck with his hand, so precision, and he'd like the way he'd uncoil his hand, he'd crack someone perfectly, but then his arm would come back to fucking stance. It was always fucking like, he was going for a knockout shot, but he was always ready. He was always reloading. Always fucking reloading, ready for another one, just in case. But he was so good and heavy-handed that, and his angles were so good, and his timing was so good, that standard one, just 1, 2, reload, 1, 2, you wouldn't have to, he'd just be 1, holy shit, he's dead, yeah, you won, Junior Dos Santos, and it was crazy. But, which is why he needed to rematch Cain Velasquez again, because of how he won. But then Cain Velasquez bet the piss out of him. And then he fought him again. And he bet the piss out of him. They don't need to fight ever, ever again. Ever. The only way Junior's going to get the belt is if someone else beats Cain, then Junior can beat him. Styles make fights, and whatever it is between the style of Velasquez and the style of Dos Santos, Velasquez trumps. He's a trump card. Whatever it is, he's better. He beats him, and it's unfortunate, like, but just all the time, unless that freak punch. But once that happens, he's the kind of fighter who will be so fucking aware of not getting into that fucking place again. But at the same time, it still can happen. But I don't think it quantifies the same level of balance of who's the better fighter than it would be for like two guys who constantly just scrap it out and then have rematches because one guy gets this guy way and one guy this guy that way, and who's gonna be. So as I said, like, I think Renan Barao can beat TJ Dillashaw, but Renan Barao will not be able to do what TJ Dillashaw did to Renan Barao. And I'm probably gonna get loads of people going, "Oh, you know what I'm fucking talking about, man." And you're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just my like observation, because it's the only fucking sport that I've actually paid attention to for more than a few minutes and gone, I actually don't want to change the channel. I'm not trying not to change the channel because I think I should like sport. I'm trying not to change. Like, I don't want the channel to change. I want to sit here and watch this. This is crazy. What the fuck is this? Like, and like, I like skateboarding, but I wouldn't put them in the same category. I'm not saying one isn't, they're not athletic and sporty and all that kind of shit. Jesus, the skill involved in skateboarding. And both of them involve a severe control of your fucking fears. And the ability to get the fuck back up. There's a lot of fucking jobs people say, "Hey, get back up off the horse, get back up, you know, fell off the horse, get back up there, buddy. You get those fucking TPS reports and those credit crunches done." The credit crunches done, that's not even a thing. You know, and you might make yourself fucking assistant manager, bro. No. I mean, like, you actually physically get broken and smashed. Like, and I say that, and that goes well for like rugby players and fucking ice hockey players. "Hey, yeah, we like to fucking fight, eh? What? You fucking pussy?" And like American football players and shit, those guys get knocked the fuck down. You gotta get back up. But there's something about that sport that I just started to watch it and I couldn't stop, and I started to really, really, really care about it. And then pretty much after I realised that Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan are possibly the two best commentators in the universe, I was set. That was it, I was set, like, and I don't have any experience in anything like that, but I watch it enough to be able to talk about it and defend it against someone who's never fucking watched it before. But at the same time, nothing that I say should be taken with full fucking, "Oh, this is fucking gospel truth. Yeah, he's stating these things as facts." You fucking get on Twitter and eat his ass. Oh, what do you mean eat my ass? No, but like, I doubt Barao could do. Man, Dillashaw was just. God, I just want to people have to get across. Oh my God, Dillashaw was just fucking unbelievable to watch. It was unbelievable to watch. I'm going to watch that fight again. That was unbelievable to watch. So for the most part, it will be the main events that I'll be covering. I'm going to try and set up the sound and stuff so we can actually do like we did the first time. I don't know how we did it. We did the first time, but it still wasn't that good with the sound. You couldn't really hear one of my friends, and you heard me more than everyone else. I'm going to try and do again like I did with my other UFC podcast, where the fight's on in the background and we're talking about it as it's happening. But until I have that kind of balance correctly, so it's flawless with the sound and it's actually grand to hear, and you can hear everyone perfectly and all the audio levels and everything are done. Once it's done, once I do that nicely, then I think that'll be the way I'll do it from now on. But for the moment, it'll just be talk about before the fight, watch the fight, talk about after the fight, and stuff like that. I'm going to try and get guests as well, as I think I mentioned earlier on. But yeah, so it seems that concludes the first, I suppose, pilot episode of the MMA Train. So, considering that's the way it is, I will then take my leave and say goodbye. So goodbye from me, Dan. Goodbye from my friend Chooie. And goodbye from the Free Bant Express and all of those involved on the MMA Train. Please like, please subscribe, please tell your friends. Go to freebantexpress.com, download it. Or if you're on Free Bant Express, go to YouTube, subscribe, comment on it and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'll see you at the next fight, which should be this weekend, actually. I gotta check who it is because there's so many piling up. And for the most part, I've only been really paying attention to when the UFC tickets for Dublin go on sale, which they're on sale. So now it's all about saving up the 110 quid that I don't have. But hopefully, not hopefully, I'm getting it done. I'm going to see that without a doubt. It's happening. So I'm going to have a special podcast for that. Hopefully I'll get a few more people to go with me, so we can actually have a good few of us rather than just me and by myself, or even if it's just one other person, actually, as long as there's someone else, and we can talk about, you know, actually being there and going to the event and stuff like that, and what it was like to see it live. But until then, until the next fight, take it easy, peace out.